Welcome to Levels for Guitar. My name is Jason Earnhardt, guitar instructor in Rockwall, Texas for over 20 years. And my aim is to take that experience and package it together in the form of a website so that you can learn guitar from home. About 10 years into teaching, I started putting together these packets for study. When the student would show up to their first lesson, I would give them all the information that we would be studying over the course of that year. And the aim was to get them from beginner into intermediate as quickly as possible. This saved me a great deal of time at the studio because I didn't have to keep writing the same old notes over and over again. Not only did this save me time, but it saved the student time and money, and that's because they were able to look ahead. When they had the packets in advance, they could look 2, 3, 4 weeks ahead of their current lesson. And so highly motivated students could finish what would normally take a year in less than 6 months. Later on, I decided to put these packets together with video in the form of a website for my local students. And that way I didn't have to keep handing out these packets. They were online. All I had to do was give them the URL and they could go in and learn those packets. Well, what I found out was that students would learn those packets before showing up to their first lesson. And then we were able to start where they left off in the packets. So they saved a ton of time and money before even getting started. We were able to get right into learning songs and more advanced material because they had those packets in advance online. And that there was the beginning of Levels for Guitar. I'd been thinking about writing a book anyway with these packets, but after putting them online, I realized the advantage of having video and charts and the ability to update the material. You can't do that with a book. So I partnered up with my good friend Chris Harris, who's the webmaster, and we developed the website that you're looking at right now, Levels for Guitar. And the idea is that you are going to learn how to play guitar step by step by step, with no gaps in the learning process. This is a big problem with a lot of books. They tend to make huge skips. They start off very slow, and then you'll have a huge skip, and you're wondering, what the heck did I miss along the way? Well, I aim to eliminate that. This is a very slow moving progression to get you from A to B as quickly as possible. Each lesson is about the equivalent of what you would learn at the studio here with me. And so a 30-minute guitar lesson is all summed up in each of these levels. Now, what makes Levels for Guitar different is, of all things, we actually teach you how to play the guitar. When you go on YouTube and you want to learn your favorite song, you're going to learn your favorite song. But you're not going to learn anything about how to play the guitar. The teacher's going to show you the tablatures, and he's going to show you the notes and where to push them. But more than likely, he's not going to teach you the fundamentals leading up to that point. And therefore, you're going to get frustrated. And I know some of you have been to private lessons where the teacher will rip out some awesome licks, and I'm sure the teacher is extraordinarily talented at performing, but they're not quite so good at teaching because they spend most of their time performing gigs and not teaching. I've been teaching full-time for over 20 years. And so when you show up to that first lesson and Rock and Roll Joe rips out an awesome lick and says, "Here, do this," you walk out frustrated. The other thing that a lot of teachers commonly do is they want to start off by asking you, "So what's your favorite song, dude? And let's get to learning that right now." And they want to teach you how to play guitar by learning your favorite song on day one. And this is a recipe for homegrown techniques and a great deal of frustration. That is not what I'm going to do here. I'm not song-centric here. I am technique-centric. And so whether you're a metalhead, a jazz player, a classical guitarist, we all need, in the beginning stages, the fundamentals of guitar technique and music theory. And after that, we can grow into whatever genre that we decide to split off into. But the basics are common amongst all guitar players. And my experience is that students who focus on the fundamentals of guitar technique and music theory become far more efficient and self-reliant down the road when it comes to learning from sources like YouTube, books, and other guitar instructors. Level 1, holding the guitar. In this level, we're going to learn how to hold the electric guitar in the most efficient way. And by doing so, we're going to protect ourselves from unwanted strain and injury, and it's going to help us to make the most out of our practice time by allowing us to move freely. And that's great news because we don't have to work so hard to achieve fast and effective results. So the first thing we need to do is establish a seating position. And that's going to start with a good chair. You want a chair without arms, either that or a stool, just something that allows you to move your elbows without restriction. This thing here is called a footstool. It's adjustable, and it goes underneath your foot. Now, you don't have to use a footstool, just anything that allows you to prop your knee higher than your hip. And what that does, it allows you to position your guitar so it will rest against your body facing your audience. Without the footstool, the guitar wants to slide down your leg. It also puts your guitar in alignment with your right and left hand. And so we're going to talk about that later, but having the footstool puts you in the perfect alignment with your instrument. Posture is important, so sit with your back straight, and we're going to put the back of the guitar against the side of the body in such a way so that this curvature here rests on top of the leg about where the thigh meets the hip. And you want to do so in such a way so that your strings are facing your audience. This provides proper wrist alignment. I know some of you are tempted to want to fold the guitar out like this so you can see what you're doing. Totally understandable, but look at the result. You end up with a bent wrist. So I want you to try this experiment. Take your hands out and make a fist. Now when your wrist is straight, it's strong, but try making that same fist with a bent wrist. It hurts. Same thing here. If you move them this way, it's even worse. So when your wrist is nice and straight, your tendons can move freely. When you're bent, your tendons are having to move over a corner, much like a garden hose against the side of your house when you're trying to pull it. It's difficult. So you want to create straight alignment of the tendons so that you can move freely. Now we need to talk about holding the guitar as it relates to the fretting hand. And for most of us, that's our left hand, the one that we play the notes with, the actual notes. And so what's important is the neck angle. What I like to do is to perform a marble test. Now you can't put a marble here, but if you were to put a marble at the top of the neck, you would want that marble to roll down towards your body. If it doesn't, you have a bad neck angle. And the reason for this is the way your elbow moves. Watch when I do a bicep curl. Now look at my knuckles. We want to align the neck with the knuckles. That allows for freer movement. That's proper alignment. You don't want your neck going one way and your knuckles going the other way. And so by doing that marble test, it provides the nice tilt there to allow for proper left hand alignment. Now when it comes to the picking hand, which for most of us is the right hand, we should be set up for that. We've got the guitar up against the side of the body, strings facing the audience, and a nice neck angle. We're set up perfectly for proper picking hand alignment. Now this is unique to electric guitar players, but we like to put our palm, this part right here, up against this metal piece which we call the bridge for picking. And we're going to do so in such a way that our forearm, this part here, not the bicep, but the forearm, is over the lip of the guitar. You don't want to rest up against the guitar like this. But providing your forearm is over the lip, you're going to be splitting the guitar at about a 45-degree angle all the way down to the bottom E string. And that's the top of your forearm here as a straight line all the way down to the tip of the thumb with your palm up against the bridge for future picking exercises. And if you're holding the guitar properly, those angles will come naturally. You don't want a 180-degree angle. You don't want a 90-degree angle. You want about a 45-degree angle.